I'm on a mission, no time for waiters. Rising up, no room for traitors. They talk behind my back, but I'll see them later. Flexing on these haters. From the block to the skyscrapers. Every step I take.
So get ready because we're going to be traveling back to the Rugrats era. Except for this is not going to be about how awesome of a TV show it was. No. Today, we're going to be talking about the Angelica theory.
I run away from home and he's happy. Oh no.
Some of you may have heard about this theory before, but I guarantee you may not have heard it quite like this. But don't say I didn't warn you, because this isn't for the faint of heart. Okay, so remember Rugrats? One of the first shows that aired on Nickelodeon that came on in 1991? And it turned out to be a smash hit, and how the audience just couldn't get enough of Tommy, Chucky, and Phil and Lil. How they would go on these crazy, wild adventures that would stress out the grown-ups in the show. Okay, so in this theory, we're going to be talking about Angelica, which is Tommy's older cousin. So as we get into this, it seems to remind the reason why Angelica always seems to mistreat the babies. And how she's the way she is, selfish, thinking that it's all about her. Manipulative, and just downright mean. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We all know somebody like Angelica. But now, let's get into the theory. The theory is quite disturbing though. It claims that Tommy and the other babies are actually, dead. They didn't exist, as they were figments of Angelica's imagination. Yup, dead babies. So, the theory begins with Angelica's real mom. She died from a heroin overdose, and her drug addiction affected Angelica, which would make Angelica a crack baby, which explains a lot, but explain her antics, her craziness. She got neglected by her father, Drew, and her stepmom, Charlotte, who's all about business and basically making money and living off of Drew's money. So basically, Angelica created the babies to basically keep her company. Yeah, crazy, right? Her doll, Cynthia, is actually supposed to be symbolic or represents her actual mother. And the way that Cynthia looks, crazy hair, patchy hair, it's said that is actually a representation of how her mom actually looked when she was hospitalized and staying in the hospital before her death. So yes, this theory is disturbing. So now we have a poor kid that grew up with neglect and dependency. How could anything get any worse? So, as mentioned, Angelica created the babies, figment of her imagination. So Angelica created the babies based on real babies that actually died in different circumstances. Tommy was stillborn, which makes Drew his father. And it actually pushed Drew into an overdrive of toys and kitty stuff, trying to compensate for his son. Not sure if you remember that one popular scene that's actually a meme. Edie actually comes into the kitchen and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and Stu is in the kitchen stirring away, making, I believe it was chocolate pudding. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm trying to put the pieces of my life back together." Something like that.
Because I've lost control of my life.
I mean, we all been there. Let's just admit it. But parenting with this theory, it makes an very uncomfortable chocolate pudding Avengers. Like, if you truly think about it, is Stu just a man that's just trying to get a hold of his life? Or is he actually a man that's dealing with and grieving over a loss of a son? You tell me. So now let's get to Chucky. Chucky is it's actually said that Chucky died in a car accident with his mother, causing his father, Chaz, to fall into a deep depression and just a complete nervous wreck. So to snap out of his depression, he visited what? He went to Paris. Remember that movie? But it was actually said that Chaz went to Paris to actually die. But he tried to get a feel of the city, and that's when he met Coco. If you remember Coco in the Paris movie, Rugrats going to Paris. He meets a woman named Coco. And Coco ended up being a gold digger, so it just really didn't work. So afterwards, Chaz met a Japanese woman named Kira. Follow me, guys, follow me. While still in Paris, she actually was a sex addict, drug addict, who actually had a daughter, Kimmy. But Kimmy is a character that actually came later on in the show. So the theory goes that Kimmy was taken away from her mother, from the French authorities, because of her drug addiction. But things end up turning out all right because Kira ended up coming to America with Chaz, leaving Kimmy behind. She ended up getting a green card and making her an American citizen. And so basically, her and Chaz pretty much lived her happily ever after, even though she never overcame her addiction. Kind of romantic, right? And hell, at least Kimmy didn't die. I mean, she ended up staying in Paris. So, I mean, if the way you look at it, that's one good thing that happened in this theory. So, back to Angelica. Angelica must have heard stories about Kimmy. And then presto, Kimmy came to be in Angelica's imagination. So, okay, let's talk about the twins now. What happened to them? Oh, remember the DeVilles? The Pickles' next door neighbors? Yeah, well, apparently they had an abortion. And since Angelica didn't know the baby's sex, hence it was too early to even check, she just imagined that they were twins, a girl and a boy. Pretty clever if you ask me. But it is said that Dill is the only one amongst the babies to be real. Why? Angelica never gets any reaction from him because he doesn't talk. So basically that caused her to just dislike Dill. And she would take it out on him by hitting him, since she couldn't differentiate him from her other creations. Pretty messed up, right? So, you guys, do you guys remember Susie Carmichael? Angelica's neighbor, friend, and rival, who's always defending the babies from Angelica? It is said that Susie actually knew about Angelica's fantasies, and for a while she played along, just to make her feel good. Plus, if you think about it, I mean, they're kids. It's kind of common to make up stories in your head and play them out in real time. So that explains how Susie was a friend and a rival at the same time, because she was the only one that played along with Angelica's imagination. But she took the wrong side in her creative imagination when it came down to the babies, making Angelica not like her at some points. But Susie was the only one that went along with the crazy story. So Angelica had to like her to some degree, since she had slim pickings when it came down to friends. Okay, so now we're going to get deeper into this story. Now this is going to take us to the Rugrats all grown up. Now remember how I said that Angelica used to hit on Dill? Well, Dill ended up growing up and ended up having a brain hemorrhage. A brain injury, sorry. He ended up having a brain injury because of that, which caused a delay in his mental development, which caused him to act a little weird, and he liked to wear hats, and I believe it also caused him to be an outcast towards other, he was just awkward. And according to the theory, everybody just avoided him. So Angelica was actually diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia. This could be because of constant narcotic abuse as a teenager, because she really didn't want to be without her imaginary creations. So in her head, she actually had them grow up alongside with her. That was the only way that she could have something kind of near and dear in a sense of a whole judgmental world. I'm trying to phrase it in a way that you guys would get what I'm saying, but it's so deep with this. It's a lot. So anyways, she became so bad on drugs because she had a whole guilt about her because of how Dill turned out. She felt really guilty about that. People would actually shun her more because of her schizophrenia and her bipolar disorders. So now, it is said that Angelica's last days were actually spent at the back of the school with her imaginary friends before her passing from a drug overdose. And then after that, Rugrats was canceled. So it is said that Susie actually rearranged her funeral, and Dad actually pushed Susie into becoming a psychologist, and Susie and Dill live happily ever after. Oh, and Kimmy too. Except for she was in France. So hopefully she was with a healthy family at this point. I don't know. But that's kind of how this whole Rugrats theory kind of ends. But yep, that's it. So if you think it's crazy, I mean, you're not alone. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that actually believe this theory. And at first glance, I mean, I kind of agree with them. Because, I mean, you truly think about it, it's really well thought out. But yeah, it's not true. This is just a theory. This is just something that is out there that people find very interesting. And I am amongst one of them that find it very interesting myself. So, yeah.